Hello everybody, welcome on in. If you are new around here, thanks for joining us. I'm Astrologer Victoria from Your Wings of Ascension. Now let's be real. If you're here, it's because you have some kind of curiosity behind this Lionsgate thing we've been hearing so much about. So, I'm gonna be real. When I first started my spiritual journey, I had all of this information coming in and I was like, oh, this over here, oh, that over there, oh, gotta do this, gotta do that, oh, this thing here. It's a lot. And one of those things that kept popping up every year was Lionsgate Portal. I didn't know what it was in the beginning. I was like, oh, it's this magical day where we get abundance and joy and quantum leaps into higher personalities, and that's not really what it's all about. So let's break it down. Let's look at the astrology of it. Let's look at the history of it. Let's look at the numerology of it. And then I will give you some tips to help you step into this really beautiful, positive potential energy. Alright, so as this is predominantly an astrology channel, let's start there. So, astrologically, Lionsgate is really an astrology event. Take all of the spiritual stuff away from it. At its core, it comes to astrology. So, Lionsgate is when Sirius, Orion, and Earth are in alignment together. Okay, great. What does that mean? So we have here on Earth the sun. We know that the sun is essential to us in every way, right? The sun is the giver of life. The sun is how we get plants to grow, how the animals grow, how we grow. So important. Our galaxy as a whole has a sun, and that sun is Sirius. So huge importance is placed upon the fixed star Sirius because it is the life giver to our galaxy. When this is visible, period, which it usually is, if we connect into this, we are connecting into the life force, the vitality, and the energy of our entire galaxy, the great cosmic beyond, everything and anything that we can maybe sort of kind of have an idea of, and then some. Super important. Orion is a constellation. If you go back through mythology and you look, there's not really a clear story of Orion. I think it's gotten lost in translation over time, and then certain groups have tweaked it to fit their certain agendas. But the gist of Orion's story is that he was a warrior, a hunter. He went out. He committed a pretty heinous act in rape. And he was forced to go on a journey to regain his vision, which was the punishment for the rape. And this journey is symbolic of our spiritual journey. So we're learning who we are, we're coming to terms with our shadow, we're going and we're evolving, and we're becoming better people. That's the story of Orion. So when we connect into that energy, it's us saying, I'm looking to advance myself, and I'm ready to step into that. And then Earth. Well, we all know what Earth is. Earth is home. So you take these three things, us, our home, the Sirius star, which is our center of our galaxy, the life force of our galaxy, and then Orion, the story of our spiritual growth. We have huge energy for connecting into the cosmic and having huge growth. Bet you didn't know that, because you know what? I didn't know that for a long time, so don't feel bad if you didn't. But that alone is enough for us to understand, hey, this is pretty significant. Now, this alignment does not only happen on August 8th. This is just like every other astrological transit, something that builds, hits an apex, and then trickles off. So this is multiple days where this energy is very potent. Now, with every aspect, it is my belief as an astrologer that we feel the energy differently in each one of us. When we start to feel it, the intensity that we feel it, how we feel it, for how long we feel it, that is found within our own charts, right? What are we more prone to? Where is it hitting us? Is it hitting us in a deeply personal spot? Is this an 8th house, a 12th house, a 4th house, a 7th house? Where these things in our galactic weather are happening affect us all differently. So this Lionsgate portal, this alignment of Sirius, Earth, and Orion is going to affect us all differently and in a different time. So no, it is not just 8-8. If you feel like you've had this underlying bubbling wanting to change, wanting to grow, now you know why. So let me find my mouse. There we go. Now let's go into ancient Egypt, because this is another important part of this. So when Sirius becomes visible, the River Nile overflows. The Great Pyramids are also built in alignment for this Sirius Orion alignment. That was really hard for me to spit out there, wasn't it? But the big thing here, in my opinion, is this observation of alignment with Sirius and then the Nile overflowing. Why is this significant? Well, go to ancient Egypt. We don't have water systems like we do now. We have the Nile. That's what we have. Without the Nile, we have nothing. Just like the sun is the bringer of life, so is water. We cannot sustain life without water. Humans, animals can go for many, many days without food, but not without water. So water is essential. And when the Nile is overflowing, this is physically and energetically showing abundance of life, abundance of fertility, and incredible potential for growth. So again, that alone is a very symbolic time and a very physically fertile time for growth to take place. We can grow all the crops because we've got the bright sun and we've got the fertile land and we've got the water. In ourselves, energetically and spiritually, we now have this cosmic bringing in and bubbling over of our water. And what is our water? Our water is our emotional self. It is how we connect into spirit and the divine. So this, like the alignment just on its own, very significant. Starting to see how this can get a little confusing because there's so many things. Let's add another layer, shall we? Let's talk about the numerology. So, Lionsgate portal we know is 8-8. The Lion's Gate is given its modern name because it falls in the 8th month, which is August, which is Leo season. So the Lion's Gate, Leo, there's that. 8 numerologically represents magic, abundance, fertility. We have the infinite. The infinity symbol is just an 8 on its side, right? Yeah, just an 8 on its side. So the number 8 is very significant to those who study numerology because it represents all of these things. The same things that are represented by the overflowing of the River Nile. The same things that are represented by the understanding of the alignments of the stars and Earth. When you have 8-8, August 8th, you have a doubling up of this. So you have huge, potent, positive energy for all of these things. Another layer that we're adding onto it. So there's so many different elements that come into what is Lionsgate, right? These are just a few of the things. These are the big things that I wanted to point out because they are all significant in their own right, but they all really point to the same thing. Hold on, speaking of all that water. So how do we actually use, and what is the point of acknowledging Lionsgate? Let's just talk about this. So, if we want to tap into all of this cosmic energy that's flowing around us, we have to have a purpose. What's the purpose? And the purpose for this would be exactly what it's representative of. Stepping into spiritual growth, stepping into abundance, stepping into magic. If we want to grow and advance on our spiritual path, using this energy is a great place to start. Even if you've already started, you've been doing this for years, this is a great energy cycle to activate your own magic, to activate your own fertility, to activate your own abundance. So things that we can do, I will get into, but I want to just clear that up. That the Lionsgate portal is not something that's just going to happen and we're going to have all this magic and all of this wonderful stuff and we're going to have abundance and fertility and joy. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. We have to be an active participant and go into this energetic realm. We have to make a point to actually do something. It's not just going to happen for us, right? Especially when we're first starting our journey, we have to go seek the energy and step into it. And it's not as hard as you may think it is. It's not this huge thing. I know there's people that go and make huge altars and do prayers all day and, vows of silence and they fast. It doesn't have to be that way. Now, if you want it to, go for it. You do you. I say that all the time. You always do what's in alignment for you, what feels right for you, what you feel called to do. You do you. But it can be something very simple. And that's what I'm going to go through now. So, before we actually step into anything and make anything happen, there's things that must happen first. Now, this is not just for Lionsgate. This is anytime we do spiritual practice, you really want to do these two things first. Number one, you want to clean your space. This is physically and energetically. So if you're going in to do some kind of sacred practice, like tapping into the cosmic beyond so that you can have massive spiritual growth, but you're sitting in a dirty, messy house or a dirty, messy room, what are you saying to the universe? Oh, I got all this mess and clutter around me. It doesn't matter. You bring me in the divine blessings. But my stuff here, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's a mess. I don't think that's how it works, my friends. We have to take the initiative. And even if you only clean your space, physically cleaning it, tidying it up is so important. Because you are saying to the universe, this is important to me. And I'm going to put the effort in. Energetically cleansing your space can come in a whole plethora of ways. The easiest way is to just envision bright light coming in every corner of your space and illuminating it and purifying it. Asking the angels, asking God, asking your ancestors, asking beings of the highest love and light to come in and clarify for you. He agrees. Yes, we can do things like use sage. We'll see if he's done. Buddy. Okay. We can do things like clear sage, but understand when you use sage, you're cleaning all of the energy, the positive and the negative. Keep that in mind. If you are not someone who's into burning, I have, and let's see how well I can do this with the light. Hold on. We'll try it this way. Maybe a little easier if I shouldn't. Can you tell that I'm not very schooled at this? You know what I'll do? I'll link it for you. It's a little bottle. You can kind of see it that way. Over here. One of these days I'll figure this out. I do this with tarot cards all the time. I'm like, oh, shiny card, you can't see. I will link this for you. This is something that I have made. At the moment I have an Etsy shop, but things are coming, don't you worry. This is a smudging spray. This has different essential oils and crystals. You can hear them. You can see them in there that are their energy helps clear the negativity and replace it with positivity. So you can go through something like this and you can just spritz your space, spritz, 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 and say whatever it is that you would say to clear a space. Ask beings to come in, ask them to clear. Ask the negative, don't ask the negative. Tell the negative that it must leave, that it is not welcome. And then ask your angels, your ancestors, your guides to be there to help you step into a place of positivity. You don't need my spray. You don't need sage. You don't need crystals. All you need is the truth from your heart and the connection to the divine, and it will come. Always remember, it's not the material, it's the intention. After you've done your cleansing, however you do that, it is then important to bring yourself into a place of joy. Because when we are working with beings that are not of the earthly realm, and we're talking about high vibrational frequency beings, it is not easy for them to communicate with us directly because our earthly existence is so dense for them that if we are not in a place of joy, which brings us up in vibrational frequency, it can be harder to connect. So something that I always do when I'm starting off is I simply clear the space and then bring myself in and go back to a memory where I'm in joy, where I'm having fun, where I'm smiling, where I'm laughing, where I just feel good. And that can be with a family member, a friend, a loved one, a pet. It can be on your own. It can be at a sporting event. It can be at a concert. It can be sitting out under the trees. It can be floating around in the ocean. Whatever it is that brings you joy, go into that memory and truly feel it, relive it, and let the lightness come through. Because when we're in joy, our vibrational frequency goes up and our density comes down. This helps us to connect in with beings beyond the veil and to help connect in with cosmic beings that exist at a higher vibrational frequency. So, it's important that we do these two things before we go to this step. Now from here, you are going to have to decide what spiritual practice you are going to step into. There's no right, there is no wrong. This is things like journaling, meditating, creating art, using cards, using crystals. Whatever it is that feels right for you, this is what you need to do. This can honestly just be going and sitting outside and just letting these things come through your head and see what pops up for you. It really is not anything intense. It is what feels right for you. Again, there is no wrong answer. So, whatever way you choose to do this in your spiritual practice, after you've cleansed your space, after you've brought yourself into this place of joy, this higher vibrational frequency, think about what it is that your ideal life looks like in all ways, in all areas, in all shapes, and all forms. How do you live your daily life in the most wonderful way? Where are you living your life? How are you living your life? What are you doing with it? What is your career? What is your family? What does your friends look like? All of it. What is your ideal life like? Get an idea of that, of where you want to step into. This isn't a fantasy because you can do this. That's what we're doing here. We're getting clear on what it is that we want so we can step into it. So what is it that you want to step into? Now, asking your ancestors, your guides, whomever, your higher self, what is it that is stopping me, that is blocking me from getting to this place? Because we can want all of these wonderful things, we can envision all these wonderful things, but a lot of times we're blocking ourselves from it. So what is it that is blocking me, or where am I blocking myself from stepping into it? This is where it starts to get really deep and personal. Because sometimes facing our inner demons is exactly what we need, but it's the hardest thing we can do. So no one will ever know this, no one will ever see it, no one will ever be in any kind of awareness of it, but it's important for you to do for yourself. And then the last part of this is asking whoever you're working with, your ancestors, your angels, whomever, to help you step into this energy, because the Lionsgate portal is about quantum leaping in our spiritual path. So ask your guides to help you step through it. Now, asking them to step through it, to help me step through it, is one thing, but if you're not saying, please help me do it, and committing to it yourself, ain't nothing gonna change in your life. So part of this asking me to help through it is asking for clarity on what to do, how to do it, and what changes need to be made. Does that make sense? I hope so. So we want to say to the universe, to our ancestors, our angels, God, whomever you're talking to, help me get clear, help me see what's blocking me, and help me see where I can step into this. Something to note, and actually we're going to leave this and we're going to come back to the big can. Y'all know, big can, big deal. Something to keep in mind through all of this is What we envision and what we think is the right thing may not actually be what the universe and our soul contract have agreed on. So while we might think that it's X, as life plays out, it may turn into Y. But that end goal of you living a positive, happy, joyful, abundant life is the same. It might just have a few different details along the way. But here's the real thing. It is your responsibility, now that you have stepped through this and you have asked for help to grow and change, to be open to the universe, to be open to the signs, to be open to God, and to see where you're being guided, what you're being asked to change, and then making those choices in real life. It may not be what you thought, it may not be what you wanted, but it's what the universe is saying you need to do to get to the next place. Keep that in mind. Sometimes we need the tower moment to shake us out of where we've been to get to where we need to go, right? Not always easy, but we kind of got to get there. So I hope that helps. I hope that clears things up. Because I know it can get confusing. Like I said, for me, it was really confusing. And before we're done, I'm going to just do one thing. I want to wrap this up. I'm going to pull out some tarot cards. Today, we're going to use the Ethereal Visions by Matt Hughes, right? I just went through the whole with the bottle and the light, and then I take out the shiny deck. It is what it is. So we're going to ask Spirit while we're all here how do I say this before I shuffle and ask it? What is it that we need to be aware of for this Lionsgate? I think that's a good one. What do we need to be aware of as we step through this potential incredible cosmic slingshot forward? What do we need to be aware of here, Spirit? Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles. That's better. This is about hard work and commitment. Yeah, that makes total sense. Hard work and commitment. Because we're asking to have huge change here, and we're asking the universe to guide us through this huge change. But if we don't commit to it and stick to it, it ain't ever gonna happen. It ain't ever gonna happen. What else? Is there something else that goes with that? I feel like that's just, that's really perfect the way it is, but we're going to just see. Is there anything else? Seven of Cups. Okay, that makes sense too. And it's interesting, we talked about 8-8 being a portal. We have two sevens here, 7-7 being a portal. So Seven of Cups. Figure out the light thing. How fitting that I can't make it focus, because Seven of Cups is about us being distracted and blinded and not being able to focus. What? Like Spirit knows what it's doing. So not being distracted. Who am I? Not being distracted. Sticking to what our intent is here. What is it that we want to achieve spiritually? Where do we want to get to? Stick to it. Don't get distracted. And continue to put in the work every day. Because it isn't just going to happen. It might happen tomorrow. It might happen next month. It might happen a year from now. But if you stick to it and you don't get distracted, it will come. I think that's pretty fitting. I'm also going to take a card from a non-shiny deck. Learned my lesson already. From the Goddesses, Gods, and Guardians Oracle by Sophia Brashford. I hope I said the name right. This is a really awesome deck. I love this one. This is not a tarot deck. This is an oracle deck, but I really do enjoy this one. So we're asking, please, what Ascendant Masters, what Gods, Goddesses, Guardians would like to assist us on this Lionsgate portal? That one didn't want to go back in. I can't make this stuff up. We have the Butterfly Maiden. Beautiful change is what this says. If I cover my own face, hey, look at that. Cover my own face, it focuses a little bit better. All right. Butterfly Maiden, beautiful change. So this is a Native American deity who we can turn to in times of metamorphosis, in times of change. So this is us going in and understanding where we need to make change, how we need to make change, and actually committing to it. And I know one of the things that Native American children do is they have dolls that have wings. So you could draw a butterfly. I think this would be a really great thing to do. Draw a butterfly and put the details in there, the colors that speak to you, the symbols that speak to you. Don't look it up, just do it. And then from there, you could go and say, I drew a green butterfly, and look up the color therapy meaning behind green. If you drew lots of triangles, what is the spiritual meaning of a triangle? Hearts, shape, whatever it is. I think that would be a great, great way to see what it is we're stepping through here. But remember, commit to it, stay with it, trust spirit. It's not going to happen on its own. It's not going to happen on its own. It's not going to happen on its own. You must commit to your spiritual practice here. Or it ain't gonna matter what day it is. All right? So as I tell you every time with this, you've got this. We've got this. I love you all very much. I hope that this helped clear things up, because I know when I first started, it was way too much. And I am certainly not the end-all be-all, but hopefully I can just give you some actual foundational stuff behind this in some practical ways that we can use the energy and really step into our higher selves here. So I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed it, please do leave a like and feel free to leave comments, questions. I do love to hear from you. Some of you are more comfortable talking one-on-one. My camera just took a photo while I was saying that. That's so funny. Some of you like talking one-on-one. You are more than welcome to find me over on Instagram. Please send me a message there. I would love to hear from you. And at the end of the day, you've got everything that you need to step through this. You didn't even need me. All you needed to do is just tap into yourself, because that's the whole thing here. We are a part of the cosmic beyond. So tap into that deep inner knowing in your heart and make your realities come to life. All right, my friends, happy Lionsgate. Love you all so much, and I will see you again very soon.